Hey everybody, you know what time it is, I know what time it is, and I'm a little early because I just screwed up, guys. Sorry about that. I actually had what I was going to do as an intro video, which I'm actually trying to load up right now. And wow, okay. Well, come to find out, it's too big. That's what she said. Anyways, I actually had put a compilation of some of the video games that Guard sent me, and I was trying to get it set up as a play before this all kicked in. And yeah, it failed miserably. I don't know what the hell happened. I got to set something up. I don't know what's going on. And by the way, Doug, who has asked me how I'm doing today, I've got a headache the size of that awesome behind me. And I've been up to my nutsack in paperwork all day, which is not fun. Actually, what I did get was my last piece that I needed for my, or at least what I thought, for my dealings with the wonderful IRS. And we all know how fun that is. About as fun as a colonoscopy, where instead of air, they use rubbing alcohol. Yeah, not so fun. So, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure you're working. Actually, Guard, I'm glad you're here. I wanted to say that 2 of the videos you sent, all I got was file names. I got the first section here. As far as the numbers that were there, it's 915 Foxtrot Alpha 6 Bravo. That's one of them. And the other one was 1 Charlie 2 Foxtrot 7 Echo. For some reason, yeah, it was all messed up on that. So if you were planning on sending those, by all means. And we got, of course it does. Oh, guys, this is what happens when the system doesn't work on me. I hit the button and it doesn't work. We got our first $10 super chat from the MTF Guard. And I'm sure the button I pushed is going to kick in here in about 2 or 3 seconds, but whatever. He says, finally got my taxes done. Sent you a good handful of videos too. I got today and tomorrow off. So yay. Yep. Yay. And son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. I got to do something really quick. Tell me if you guys can hear me. Can you still hear me? Yes or no? I need to know. Is good, bad, ugly? What's going on? Because I got to reset the system here. And once I get these all set, all right, should be good. I hit this one. What the fuck? Yeah, that was the one that's supposed to be for Guard. Or actually, Guard should have been for the Emperor. And on top of that, we got a $5 super chat from Douglas Scarborough. It says, can anyone share my GoFundMe around on their media, please? Yes, I have, and I try to. I was having a little trouble with YouTube to send it again, or to set it up again. I don't know what's going on. I have seen it. I mean, it's doing okay. It's not doing great, but it's doing okay. And yeah. Good. As finally it's working. I know the total friggin' grab your nuts and twist them that happened before. That just that was not so good. Anyways, I didn't put a lot of notes tonight because once I get through a certain section, it's going to turn into a call-in stream. But we're going to have to get through everything first. And it's not a whole lot. I have like a quarter of a page in front of me. And like I said, I just didn't have time to do all the craziness that I wanted to. So I can get this open without ripping my freaking hand. Of course, it's a black cherry soda. But I should have had this on the screen instead. All right. Anyways, we got somebody. It's Erica. As she's here saying, thank you for everything with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. You, Doug, Guard, and everybody else is here. I very, very, very much appreciate it. And honestly, you're the only reason I could pay for half of this shit. Trust me, if I had to survive off advertisements, I'd be totally and royally screwed. I do actually have right here, I was going to talk about it later, but I'll bring it up now. This was brought up by one of you guys. I may have to switch to a membership style and be like a monthly subscription thing. I've been fighting that, and I've been fighting it, and I've been fighting it, and I've been fighting it. But I'm finding out that if you don't do that, the algorithm wants to friggin' put one right up your ass. So yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good where I am for the time being. I will fight it for as long as I can because I personally don't like subscription systems. I think they've killed the console industry. I think they've killed a whole bunch of the other ones. It's absolutely sickening to watch actually the automotive industry go into the subscription models, where say you buy a brand new BMW, although I don't know why you'd want to do that, on average, it's a starting subscription for everything that you already paid for it to work, which by the way is extortion. It's a minimum of $800 a year that you have to pay them to make sure your seated warmers work, your radio works, the satellite radio works. Those are two different things. Hell, your turn signals actually work. It's sickening. It is absolutely disgusting, and I try to fight it as much as possible, and I hope you guys do as well. You guys, from what I see, everybody's been doing great when it comes to killing those AI freaking channels, just blocking them like crazy. And thank you. I do the same thing. So, all right. Let's see. I wanted to bring this up, guys. Even though this is going to be a call-in stream, I did check the Discord. I have not had a lot of chances to look through it. But one of the things I did notice in the Discord was that there was a very strong theological discussion with all the shit that's happening around the planet. If you guys do call in, let's try to stay as far away from politics as possible. You know what they say, you want to start a fight, politics and religion. There's nothing that's going to get people hotter faster. And this channel is not only for me to have my way of, using parts of my brain that don't get used anymore, but also for, escapism, to get away from all the crazy bullshit. And yet I know people get very, 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 very adamant about this. However, on that same note, you're going to see I do touch on it ever so slightly on the video that is going to be dropping tonight. It was already written and recorded yesterday. I ran through my ass because I knew I'd be busy today, and I got the next episode of My Ship. This came up this morning, and then I got another one set up to drop tonight. So yes, you will get your video first thing in the morning. I can't finish it now until we get out of here because everybody dropping their super chats. The only person that doesn't have to is Prozac and Pancakes because he's actually paid up for a long, long ways. I actually was in such a rush I didn't even put the extra piece in here. It says how many weeks. Let me check there. Yeah, he's good for 9 more weeks. You guys know how it is. You drop a full bill and you get 6 weeks free and clear. All right. Let's see. I already talked about guards with a video. Okay. I want to have another picture in here, which I don't. And it was to show you guys that the next part of what I'm going to say is not a line of bullshit. It's the weather, as you know, has been real weird. And maple syrup season is getting even weirder. With the sudden burst of heat coming in, I don't know how fast that sap's going to flow. However, I have my buckets out. I just emptied some of them today. And I won't be burning tomorrow, but I will be burning the next day. Tomorrow, I'm just going to be finishing off my taxes, and then I'm writing. And I'm writing for you guys. But you got to let me know if you want me to continue on My Ship, or do you want me to keep going on something else? I'd rather just keep going on one story and get it done. However, that's on you guys. Let's see. Let me grab a drink here before I end up going down this rabbit hole. Okay, I'm climbing out. Okay. I got a question. What's your favorite scary movie? Because guess what? It's back, motherfuckers. They're actually bringing the original cast. And I'm hoping because they're bringing back the original cast, they're bringing back the Wayans brothers who actually know how to do a decent satire. We haven't had a good satire director or producers in years. Okay. It's suddenly everything was not funny. It was. And the thing is, it wasn't funny because the people who go to movies have a bad sense of humor. It was not funny because the jokes were terrible. I'm like, no, the first two scary movies are fucking classics. Okay. The first one, they're getting their feet under themselves. But seriously, if you didn't laugh when Shorty got wrapped up into as Mel Brooks would say it, we are now armed with mega joint, then something is just wrong with you. Yeah, scary movie with the pronouns. They pissed off all the modern audiences with that. And oh, damn, that was just funny. When I saw that and she just kept getting stabbed after that, I was just like, oh my God, that's just, whew. They're doing it right. They're pissing off the people that have too big of a head on themselves, and that's just the way it goes. Now I don't think I never saw, I don't know if it's Trilogy of Terror. I know there's like 5 or 6 of them, but after the third one, I just kind of lost my taste for it because I was like, what the hell is this? It's not funny. When they brought Charlie Sheen in, I'm like, no, just no. Okay. It wasn't done right. I don't know who the hell thought that was a good idea, but they should be brought out into the street and shot. I will say this. There are a few jokes, even in the trailer, that I was just going, that's gross. You over the top. I'm sorry. With a little kid saying, what the fuck is this? And she's holding up a friggin' chopped off friggin' nutsack. Too far. Just too far. There's a limit on how far you can push this sort of humor before it just goes from funny to either gross or sad sometimes. It's not cool. Okay, the trailer all succeeded so much that the softies on the internet are demanding the movie be canceled. Yep, I heard about that. A petition with close to 500,000 plus signatures on it already. You know what? Fuck them. They're not going to go watch it anyway. I would go watch. I don't even care much for the Wayans brothers comedy when they did stand up, but I will watch that fucking movie. That's how much I think they're going to do a good job. If they don't do a good job, it's the studio's fault. Favorite political satire is a puppet show. You mean the Team America? America, fuck yeah. And it's a joke. It's satire. I mean, do you really think when I was running around with an M4, I had shit like that? No, it's a joke. But still, everybody's just like, what the hell is this? And by the time they were done watching, they were either totally disgusted or still laughing. I was doing both. So anyway, where was I on my notes? All right. Before we go too far, just a reminder. Oh, God. Oh, man. Just show it, damn it. Sorry, the system wasn't working right. Don't forget to make sure you are still subscribed. And if possible, maybe not the live stream, but next time you get to see one of the videos, if you wouldn't mind wasting one of your hypes, I appreciate it. I appreciate it big time. Let me get back on there. It's YouTube short called Puppet Regime. Honestly, the best ones I've seen are the aliens being debriefed after fighting humans. they're only down to only about a minute long now instead of being like 3 minutes long when they first started, but it's very hard for them to miss on that, especially if you haven't seen it, guys, especially listening to the stuff that I create and stuff that you guys create. I recommend you guys put it in, and it's very, 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 it's just funny. Yeah. They wrote, "Send more on the side of our dropship." It's like in the blood of our own company commanders or something like that. Or it's just like just really goofy stuff like that. Like one sitting there going, "I would pretend to be dead." Then I heard someone say, "Unzip its pants. I want to see if they have buttholes." I never ran so fast in my life. Even though it's AI, it's still, somebody had to write that. AI is not that funny. All right. So let me go up here to my media. We did get a couple videos or quick videos in. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the intro to freaking work, which still pisses me off. So let's try this one.
Last operator standing.
Jeez, dude, were you at when you did that when we were playing against real players? Because it seemed like they were all taking a break or something like that. Their characters weren't moving. What the hell? Yeah, the alien stories, man, they are funny, Skip. They are absolutely hysterical. I mean, they don't all hit, but they're pretty good. I'm waiting until they have the female aliens on there. Like, I don't know why, but they won't shoot me. They just always come at me with both hands open. Why? So anyways, like I said, I would be showing you pictures of maple syrup season, but they didn't, for some reason, they wouldn't transfer from my phone to my emails. I don't know why. They just wouldn't. So on that, where the hell is it? Okay. Okay, it should be here. Where the hell is it? Okay, guys. For some reason, the invite should be right. It's supposed to be right here. Oh, that's some bullshit. What the? Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can't get this to work. Let's see. Invite. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right. Sorry, I got my cameras in the way. All right, just so you guys know, I only have like 2 or 3 slots open down here that I can work with. So if you get held up, just give us a few minutes. And right before I post it, sorry for the burping, guys. For some reason, this is coming up like crazy. Again, we'll try to stay away from the politics as much as possible. I feel like it's going to ooze its way in. However, we'll keep mostly with any type of stories you guys got, any questions you guys have. If I'm confusing you in any way, shape, or form, and just FYI, the ships video where I go through the different classes of ships will not be done until the office is built downstairs. Reason being is I need that wall where I'm going to be actually tacking up a bunch of dry erase boards so I can actually put it across there. And it's a good thing I paused because we got a $5 super sticker from some sort of demon.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
That he's actually here. And I look around and I'm sure he's looking at the folks here and thinking,
how many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
Keep commenting, assholes. I didn't get a chance to hit the button. I'm kind of doing this. And I also got the Guardian Sage.
Great Scott!
And actually, the thing is, I didn't get... I feel like an asshole for not putting it on here. I was going to put the yogurt one where for Guardian go, may the Schwartz be with you. What a world, what a world. And all that. And unfortunately, because I didn't do that, it's causing
emotional damage
over here. Sorry about that. So, Guardian says, limited fun this week. Keep up the good work. Guys, again, if you guys even send in a penny, I'm appreciative. So, and this is that right there is the reason why I did not want to switch to subscription shit. I don't want to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to have any choice. That being said, sending out the link right now. So if anybody wants to join me tonight, you're welcome to. And hopefully we're not sitting there trying to figure out going, what you talking about, bro? And Demon already leaving, seeing scattered, can't stay. Work is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And first one's first, we got a war sniper coming in. Yo,
Hello.
hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
That's great.
Bombing someone right now on the game Warpath with an B57 or B52 Stratofortress.
Oh, okay. A little warheads over foreheads action going there.
Yeah, and I think in a week I will get the B1 Lancer.
Okay, the B1, the bone. You know that
Yep.
they actually have another one that was supposed to come out, the B1 regional, you know, B1R, and if you spell it out, you're going to be hitting them with a giant boner.
Yeah, with
I did
the
not
I think the one that can hit bunkers very easily, those boners.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully you're not hitting it with the actual plane. That might be a little bad.
Yeah, only the Japanese are good in that.
Well, oddly enough, if you check to see the stats on when they actually hit, they weren't very good at it. It's actually very difficult with a prop-driven plane. And since you're a gamer, I don't know if they do this. Say you have a dual-engine aircraft. If one engine goes out, does it drift?
If we talk about the game War Thunder, then yes.
Okay.
But it is really depending on how heavy the aircraft is. If it can survive on one engine, it can get back to the airfield. If it doesn't, it will slowly glide down, and on the end, it will crash.
Okay. And
Yep.
I got to pause 1 second here because, well, I hate to skip you, but Skip is here saying, thank you for keeping the political noise down. I need the escapism. Well, you're welcome very much. And back to wonderful War Sniper here. That got loud. Anyways, that's what you're doing to the other guys. So now, did you have any questions or extra comments coming in today?
Well, more about because I was in the past, I have thought about the story of me and two other guys that saw on one of the planets, Meridia was it called. We were destabilizing and make it turn into a black hole with how do you call it? Dark matter. And we saw one guy being alone on the field, so we chose to help that guy out. So we lined it up with his beacon and dropped in. On the moment we dropped in, we said loud in the voice chat, "Reinforcements has arrived!" And we directly helped the guy. And on the moment we came out of the fight, well, we dropped in. We came out of our drop pods and we saw him running with a group of bugs after him. So we directly deployed the mechs and helped him out. And after doing the objectives, we came out of it and we heard alert, alert, warp in 3 seconds, and we warped directly back to our home system. And then we saw on the map that the Meridia planet crashed into itself, turning into a black hole. And yeah, I asked you about that to make a story about that, but so far I haven't seen anything of a video of that. So how is that?
Well, if are you talking about how to make a video on that, or are you talking?
No, I asked you to make a video of that.
Okay.
Memory.
Okay.
Of one hell diver of being all alone, or in special forces soldier, and then let's say he throws out the beacon and 3 other ships warp in, telling him that reinforcement has arrived and help the soldier out with yeah, those guys. And then on the end, let's say they do a particular group of objectives while they deploy the mechs, and then when they come back, that's what happened by us in the game. The planet starts to crack in itself while the ships warp away fast, and then see on the big map in the ship itself that the planet has crashed in itself as remembrance to Murdia.
I'm taking notes here. Just writing down imploding planet.
Because of the dark matter we have used.
It's not quite how dark matter works, but yeah.
Also in the game it is being used.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
in the game, I'm talking about actual physics on that one. But yeah, I got it right here. I actually have it right down idea. Now, the one thing, if I make one like this, now I am shoulder deep in a series right now, so it's going to be a while. If I do this, I might have to take a few extra liberties because I don't want to copy and paste Helldivers, because a lot of people don't like that if you don't get all the exact things right. So just like when I did the Warhammer 40K, and I did as good as I could, but I didn't know the lore. So yeah, like I said, I have it written down. Drop in, help the buddy. Reinforcements have arrived, and of course, watch him get chased after the bugs. As he literally runs, going, "Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me," and then take off and warp out right as the imploding of the planet. Yeah, that's doable for sure.
Cool.
All right, so I got. Yeah, go ahead.
And further, a few around now 3 days ago, I've made my another episode of my videos of getting towards the Leopard 2 A7V. So yeah, so another video is live if people are interested.
All right. Well, if you got a link to any videos, just drop it into the chat box and we'll look into it. I got folks waiting, so it was good talking to you, War Sniper, and I will definitely. I got it written down. It's right there. You can read it if you want. I got it written down. Got the notes. So look forward to it, and I look forward to writing it.
Yeah.
And take care.
You too.
All right. The next one coming up is someone who decides to send me a bunch of pictures of himself. He's kind of spooky. He's the Guardian Sage. How you doing, Guardian? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Oh,
cooking up some dinner for myself at the moment. Microwave.
Oh, well, yeah. That's the man's secret weapon, right?
Yeah. Let me move where I got a little bit better light. There we go.
All right. So, what do you have for a subject for us tonight, man?
I was thinking about different things, and my mind ended up drifting back to one of the story ideas I proposed to you, as to how it could possibly be done. And the one with the sign where humanity turns out to have genetic compatibility with 2 extremely different species, that would not normally be able to crossbreed. And the theory of is humanity the children of the gods or the missing link? The idea was originally supposed to be something dealing with one of the alien scientists is complaining about not being not about the procedure for testing for new species being introduced to the galactic community, for not having it standardized as being them tested for the genetic compatibility with all other species in the galactic community beforehand. And the idea that I thought of how to make it work out best would be to have it where he's complaining to a human and doesn't realize that he's talking to a human because the human is in like some sort of spacesuit. And the human, and somewhere like in the middle of the rant of this guy, he turns it onto who, like, he has access to like a galactic net or something, and he's relaying this guy's rant back to people he knows on Earth, which is how it starts going, like ends up going viral or something. And people in all sorts of government and religious institutes start to react. Like, some people will react to the fact that aliens think that humanities might be deities or something like that are somehow semi-divine. And then you have other people that are reacting to the fact that people are calling humanity, might be considering humanity as the missing link. And how, and all that whole reaction through the scientific community, especially since humanity has been looking for the missing link for our own history and the misinterpretation of that.
Well, there's easy ways around this one. And unfortunately in one case, for like when you want to wrap it up, you might borrow from probably one of the greatest series ever, Babylon 5. Now the character, I'm assuming you've seen it.
Yeah, I actually have that series.
Okay.
On disc.
Good. Then the Jakar, they gave him the best freaking lines, I swear. Anyways, they were talking about the whole like Swedish meatballs things where he's like, it's one of those mysteries where you'd either never know the answer or go crazy if you actually did. And you can actually throw something similar in that before the guy realizes that he's talking to a human. And then when the guy goes totally off hinge, be like, okay, now I'm going to stream this asshole. I'm trying to be nice here and all that. But I can say this, when you're dealing, and that's going to be very dialogue heavy. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff, when I have a dialogue heavy one myself, it takes a long time to write. And one of the kickers is I recommend, highly, highly recommend that you actually go somewhere else and you just read the dialogue and do it in like different voices. And now I don't know if you're more visual off the page or you hear it where it filters better. Me personally is hearing. So, but that's,
I think it's a combination for me.
Yeah. And for that one, now I will say this: you're going to have to put it in once they realize that humans can crossbreed. There's going to be certain groups that are going to start saying, "Oh, really? Well, are there bonuses to this?" And then the other ones are going, no. And you guarantee it's going to be the males of that species are like, females, mine. It's just, you really got to watch on that because let's face it, being possessive of the punani is just universal. I mean, women hate it when we are, but we are. It's hardwired in. And I can't expect any other species to be any different because we can see it in the animal kingdom as well. Yeah. So that's going to, using this as a guideline, just the whole, okay, for some reason humans reached out and now we have crossbreeds in not one, but two different places. That's going to make a lot of people look at, like you said, are they this or are they that? And I would strongly, strongly recommend that when you write out, you actually write down the like different council members and write down beforehand what type of species they are.
Yeah.
Always start off with reptilian or insectoid or mammalian or whatever, because that's going to stick in everyone's head. Now, if you want me to write something like that's a series, man.
I was figuring like a 2 or 3 episode series where it's basically introduces all this craziness and has it where it leaves off at the end of the either second or third episode, where it's open ended, where the series could be continued, but it should be good enough as is, where you can leave it up to the person's imagination. Okay, if I was in that situation, how might I react going on beyond this?
And right there, anybody who wants to write has to do exactly that. You are 100% correct. And that's how you put the realism in a very weird situation. Is how would somebody actually react based on their culture, based on their past and stuff like that. Now, were you saying you want me to do this one, or you said you were writing it? I think I misunderstood what you said there.
I think if I remember correctly, I proposed it to you as an idea of something, because I'm not that great at writing, and when I do get around to it, it takes me forever. But I figured that you could probably write it up using this general outline of it, and have at least one version out there. If you're willing to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm actually writing 2 to 4 episodes minimum on my paper here. Although every time I write minimum, I swear it just looks like a squiggle line with 2 dots on it. Somebody wrote that or showed me that, and I was just like, wow, the word minimum is minimum. But like I was saying to War Sniper, this is going to be it's going to be a while before I get to it.
No problem.
Now, one of the things is, actually, I'll run this by you. Now, I got sent this green screen. You can't, see, I'm actually touching against it right now. Yeah. However, if you guys want, when I am working on something like the expansion of Ambush Predators, when I have everything downstairs, I already know where everything's going to be set up. All the whiteboards are going to be behind where I'm going to be sitting. Would you guys like to see the notes there, or as kind of like a preview thing, or would you prefer that just the pictures?
I wouldn't mind seeing the notes for like have it set up where it's forming an outline of the story for the intro there, or whatever you want.
Okay.
That would give people who's observant an idea of what the story should be about, and determine, okay, is this something I really want to listen to or not?
Okay. I was just wondering, because, no one person can think of anything. I try. God help me, I try.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. I will say this as a final aside before we set off. When you do have time to start writing, don't sit and try to write the entire thing. Start by doing outline, because what you're going to do as you're doing, and I've done this myself. When I first started writing, it was probably the best piece of advice I ever got. When you start writing and you're doing just the outline where you're showing where the high points are, you're going to be like, oh shit, this should be over here and that should be over there. And then when you do write, it's going to flow out a lot faster, way faster. So I still will be doing this with the not 1 but 2 species that want to go through humans, and I guess death by snoo.
Well, anyways, if I remember correctly, the original idea is that we already know that aliens may have visited Earth in the past, but the idea is that the experiments they'd done on us was to determine whether or not there would be cross-species viruses, and whether or not human biology could be weaponized, or whether or not they could use standard biological weapons of theirs against humans if needed. That type of thing. And nobody thought to do cross-species compatibility tests and those testings before humanity managed to come up and say, hey, you guys, we are aware you guys have been visiting us. Now we want to actually officially meet you, or kick your ass if you don't want to play nice.
And what I'm actually, as you're talking, my brain is actually, part of it is thinking about different parts here. But you can even have, instead of people or another species not being smart enough to check everything, you could have a research come in and go, I fucking told you it could happen. Oh my God, you didn't listen before. Are you listening now?
Yeah, that's the basic concept of this guy coming in. And he's part of a long legacy of scientists that have been pushing for this one thing to become standardized in the galactic community for testing with new species discovered, or for testing genetic compatibility, but nobody's been listening for centuries. And it's one of those things where it's known that certain species, like, okay, you meet a new species, they're often compatible with one or two species that are similar to them outside their base species. Sometimes three, but it's usually not more than that. And suddenly, humanity has not only managed to accidentally impregnate one person that was coming in as an ambassador, but they managed to impregnate somebody else that was from a completely different species who there was no previous direct connection to from any other interspecies relations.
Or something. And here's one thing that, and I have to say I'm faulty of this one too, is have one of theirs impregnate one of ours.
Either way, but the idea is that it was one of those cases where it was somebody got Randy. A different one might have had a little too much of something, along with somebody that they were with from the human delegation, and things got out of hand, and somebody got pregnant who wasn't technically supposed to.
Yep. Well, come on. How many times is 9 months after oops or damn it broke, I mean, we've all heard those stories. So anyways, that's a lot to think about. I've been jotting down notes as we've been going. So anyways, but
the idea is that the main story starts after all this backstory stuff happened, and it's like this guy's coming in and he's complaining about how the fact that nobody's been listening to him for God knows how long, and only after this stuff has happened, and is he finally being approved to come in and do these testings with the humans?
Yeah, I can actually hear myself literally starting with, I told you 800 and so many years ago, I told you, and now look at this, and just and start off there. That's the only thing going through my mind is I told you, because how many times have I guarantee everybody listening right now has been in that situation where you told somebody this is going to happen if you do this. A or B is going to happen if you do A. There's no C. B is going to happen. Oh, no, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. And then, yeah, there you go. It happened. You're just like, told you. So, anyways, I'm going to let you go for a bit. And unfortunately, we don't have anybody lined up, but I'm going to run some videos real quick, and we're going to go over a few other things. And thank you very much for being on the show, Guardian. Very much appreciate it. And don't forget, if you want additional pictures for when you get your shout outs, just send them, and they get archived quick. I got a whole file for just supporters. All right.
I'll see what I can find.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right. That was cool. That's guys, you guys give me some awesome ideas. The problem is I can only do one story at a time, even though I have well over 4,000 original videos on this channel. And I'm not even kidding, because I just got a message from one of these. Hey, we'll back up all your stuff on a storage in the cloud. I don't want it backed up in the cloud, you jerk, because that's how it gets stolen. They're like, oh my God, there's so much for one person to deal with. So yeah, no. Anyways, I'm going to give my throat a little break. Wow, this is a short clip you sent me, Guard. how. Okay, I gotta see that one again. Hold on. Okay, I gotta give it to War Thunder on that one, because while you're watching, you actually see the shell hit the hatch was open as the guy was getting down in it, and he hit the hatch and it shot down, which is exactly what would happen. The only difference is the hatch would have blown clean off as well. That's wow. They did a really good job with that game. So no wonder you guys like it so much. If I wasn't doing this sort of channel, that's the sort of thing I might actually do. Well, that and MechWar Online, but I don't know if you guys actually play that one. Unless you're part of a clan, no, it probably wouldn't be so fun. It's not, like in my background here, it's not like it used to be where just random folks go in there. Now you got entire clans, like 20, 25 guys. They all end up on one team, and for every single map, they know exactly where they're going to set up with exactly the right type of mechs, and everybody else is just cannon fodder at that point. And there's one, he thinks he's all beefy and stuff like that. I think that's his channel name. And I even gave him shit the other day. As like, really, this is why nobody plays MechWar Online unless you're part of a clan. He lined up 12 king crabs. And yes, his team had a bad case of the crabs. And each one of them, I believe, had a Gauss rifle on it, which is a type of rail gun or coil gun. And they just, every time somebody stuck their head up, they blew it off. But it's literally, these folks are just trying desperately to go around, and there was no weight limit or anything. So you got 12 assault mechs against, lights, mediums, heavies. And I think I saw one dire wolf on the other side. Give me a fucking break, man. If I want to see somebody get their ass stomped, I'd go down to Harlem and I'd start saying certain words that I really shouldn't say. So anyway. And although I guarantee he was screaming, "It's a trap!" and all that other fun stuff. And let me see something real quick. One quick second here. Okay, they're skipping everything. And if anybody else, we already had Sniper and Guardian in. If you guys want, the link is in the box. If not, I'm just going to go up through the comment section here. And I'm going to stop. Where am I going to stop? I'll stop right about there. And it's from Guard. Yeah, there's definitely somebody writing those jokes for the aliens. Ain't no way. Yeah. For the stuff on YouTube where we were talking about. Been watching some YouTube parodies lately called Jenja Wars or Jenja King. Hilarious videos the videos about cat bands. Dude, I don't know. I'm so few times on YouTube, it's crazy. I used to actually enjoy listening to the drama stories and whatnot. Then I found out that almost every single one of those channels is AI. Can't enjoy any of it anymore. And there's Demon. Yep, there's a StreamYard link. And see, Eric says, it sounds like a 6-year-old on. I sound like 6-year-old on. Really? Come on. You should hear me you guys have heard me sometimes when I get a little stuffed up. I really sound nasally. I just realized that's even worse than I thought. I used my electric razor this morning and I wasn't near a mirror. I just zipped myself real quick and I missed right under the nose. Enter joke here. Anyway, Guard says, it's funny with something I was doing on War Thunder. I decided to waste some of the gold I've been hoarding. Swing! Which was almost 11K, and decided to waste it all on a crate to get my hands on a premium tank. A genuine tank? But he didn't get it. Instead, I managed to get myself almost 3 months worth of premium days and ended up getting myself an extra 3 million silver eagles. Fair trade for 5,000 gold lions. Now, if those were 3 million actual silver eagles, I'd be like, dude, Dude, because I think it's like $87 an ounce now. So it'd be somewhere around okay, my math is going to be off. Somewhere above 2.5 million in actual dollars on that one. And he continues, other than that, I have a challenge. We should get 3 kills in a light tank before dying 15 times. I've only pulled it off twice in a span of 36 matches. Yeah, just like with Mech, when I used to play MechWar Online, I almost never played the lights. Reason being is I'm usually in a heavy mech. Heavy mechs are usually your big push. Main reason, they're fast enough to keep up, but they still carry the heavier weapons. If you need a bulwark, then that's when you bring your assaults in. Regardless, in a heavy mech, I'm popping lights left and right because I was in a Jaeger mech, and Jaeger mechs, their weapons are high, so you can actually peek over and not expose yourself. If the weapons are hanging low, then you have to expose yourself.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
I swear I'm not trying, guys. It's every single time I say, I just realize what I'm saying. But you have to get high enough for your weapons to work. Well, if I'm running AC-20s, which is basically 225 or 225 millimeter artillery round with very little powder behind it, but it hits like a mech truck on meth, that I'm popping lights left and right, even with that thing. And I would just aim for the legs, and a lot of times I'd either leg them or I just end them right there. And so that's why I never wanted to be in a light, because they die way, way too fast. If you can actually get your 3 kills before dying 15 times, that's most likely pretty good, because it's just like the Japanese tanks. We could shoot through them with our BARs. Okay, Lena says, trying to recreate wow, I'm going to mispronounce it. Saya Kawasumi character. But the problem is that I don't remember watching that show she was from. I have chosen to create a different modern version. Okay. As long as it gets close and you're not trying to be disrespectful to a set character, you guys who can draw, we're good. Okay. We understand that not everybody draws the same way. Now, in writing, it's a little different. You have to stick as close to the narrative as possible, because all the visuals people can just figure out themselves. So, let's see. Guard must be, oh yeah, he's continuing from his last one. He says, I swear to God, ever since War Thunder introduced volume tricks to this game, Panther turret mantles are just this wall of solid steel that can never pin half the time. Well, what they did, and the reason why Panzer tanks, and I don't know why, I think it's just the American idiom that we call them Panther, but Panzer simply in German means tank. The fact that they were more sloped than the Tiger was the reason they could, pardon the pun, tank a hit better than people think. Sloped armor's always been that way. That being said, the Panzer tank is also a very, very good piece of machinery. If they focused more on them instead of the Tiger and the King Tiger, they would have had so much more success. It's not even funny. And he continues, like, yes, like having 50 millimeter gun for my T1E190. Just don't damage the turret. Because of the volumetrics. Yeah. In that case, aim for the actual seam. If it's programmed correctly, that is one of the weakest points. If you can get it right between the turret and the hull, it's going to go through, and it's either going to wipe out the entire crew, because you got the loader, most likely the gunner, and the commander in that one area. And if you get them, they might still have the driver. I stress the might part, but you have a good chance of making that a mobility kill, and I believe in that game. If it's a mobility kill, it's donezo. I need a second here, so I'm going to put actually a tank on. And that right there is exactly what I was talking about. When he turned the corner, when he fired, he ricocheted one off the turret because it was all sloped and curved and shit, designed specifically to take that hit. And you shot right through, right into that seam. And that's what got the crew. That's always the case. Wherever it moves, that's where it's the weakest. That's why when we were playing, or I should say my boss back in the day was playing Battlefield 2142 in Korea, and he kept getting just completely spanked, like bent over, spread cheeks, spanked by those up armored locusts that are out there. And he's like, he comes up to me because I like Battletech. He's like, how do you beat him? I said, aim for the joints. In particular, go for the crotch. He's like, that won't work. I told him, yes, it will. Just get under it and just start blasting away. Aim for the soft, squishy bits. The very next day, he came up. He almost gave me a fucking hug. I'm like, okay, Sergeant, I'm not a hugging type person. I will hug you when I have to pick you up and carry you off the battlefield. What the fuck is going on? He was just so happy. He forced the pilot to get out, and then he blasted the pilot. See, Guard continues with so out of anger because of that BS, I have immediately gone to the 7.7 French with the Samoa SM. The biggest middle finger to a Panzer's turret mantle, and you said entire Panzer's front plate. Yeah. Well, it's always right next to the gun and in the seam. That's where you want to hit. Because that, even especially with Abrams now, that's solid pieces of depleted uranium. That you're not punching through that. You're gonna ring the shit out of the guy's bell, but you're not punching through that. He finishes up with solid shot that somehow reacts like alpha. Alan up here says, just the pictures by my choice is more of a surprise. Oh, for when you get your shout outs and whatnot? Yeah. Actually, who's today's winners? Let's see. Julius, War Sniper, and Brian were the ones on this last video that came out this morning. Let's see. Oh, pictures on the green screen. Okay. Yeah. Let me scratch the Atlas's belly here. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Or not Atlas. Sorry, that's an awesome. I don't believe there was actually. There it is. There's the Atlas. He's back there. Giving me a haircut. Let's see. Does this a solid shot? To my understanding, Guard is that causes extremely hot fragments once it penetrates the armor. Do I really, seriously? You guys are talking about shooting. Maybe you should shoot him in the back or the.
Hicks doesn't trust me right now.
Really? Why not?
Because I got to use a sniper rifle and I ended up unloading a round into her ass.
Hey, chicka bum bum.
When I first saw that, of course, I was younger and very, very drunk. And I think everybody in the room just fell off of their chairs laughing so hard at that. I mean, red versus blue was good for a certain amount of time, and then it kind of sucked. Skip says, Guardian, this is similar to Twilight Zone's A Small Talent for War. Yeah, that was a very short thing for that. Now I don't see how those would match up. How that would be a small talent for war, more like one visiting and be like, dude, what the fuck? But yeah, I don't see how those match. You're gonna have to put more in there, Skip. I don't get it. Guardians with I've only seen a few of the old Twilight Zone episodes. If you watch any of them, okay. Now most are gonna fuck with your mind, which is obviously why Gen X like us are pretty much immune to most things. But one, the bunker, I think it was, is a true classic. The inconsequential man will fuck with your mind something fierce. And I'm trying to remember the one with the gangster, he got shot and he dies and goes the other side. I'm trying to remember the name of that episode. Those are some classics right there. I mean, they're all pretty good. They're all mind warping in their own way. But yeah. There's Julius with, oh, hold on, where is it?
Good evening, sinners.
And there's Skip again. In that episode, humanity surrendered and Earth died because they were looking for soldiers. Yeah. I don't like doing spoiler alerts, but he just kind of dropped it where they said, you have a small talent for war. We'll be back in X amount of time. And they thought it's like, oh, you want to get rid of our talent for war. You want us to make peace. So they made peace and then they came back and fucked us up. Like, no, we want you to be war type people. And obviously they didn't look too close because we are a warlike species. I mean, we've been killing each other for so long. We forgot why we started. Doug's up here. He's like, I like MechWar Online, but too many times there are people who seem to be too lucky. Case in point, I shot a light in the back with a streak SRM6 arm, and he kept running. Now, I will say this. A lot of those guys have gotten smart and they have jacked up their armor. When I play Battletech, when I do my different mechs, when I refit them, the very first thing I do is I strip the weapons and I max the armor. Why? Or I should say, oh, damn it, I took that off. I had one that said why here. But why do I do that? Because it's a lot easier to fight if you're still alive. And what a lot of these guys are doing is they're jacking up the armor and they're going with almost no weapons. And that's why they got to get close, because the only thing they can have a lot of is small lasers where the range is absolute dog turds. And depending on which light mech, if you shot a commando, it's going to turn around and shoot back at you. If you shot a flea, there's no more flea. If you shot a raven, you probably crippled it. If not, took it out. It's and if you're wondering why I say that, is because that's a streak SRM6. They're guided. It's not a broad spray. They'll find their mark. And there's Chris saying he's got distracted by the news. Well, we're trying to stay away from the news as much as we can, even though we are talking something similar. And Alan's right. Who cares about your late? You're still here, ain't you? It's important. And Skip, you missed some great stuff. He's on. Oh, I am on point. I wondered why that hurt. Sorry. Bad joke. Chris says talking to his buddies a lot, and they're all still cheering about what's going on. Yeah, we're going to try and stay as far away from the politics or the geopolitical shit as we can, because as soon as we do that, I'm going to hear people go,
You gotta be fucking kidding.
And they're just going to have a whole bunch of
Emotional damage.
And then they're going to get pissed off and say,
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And I'd rather not that happen. So anyway, oh shit! Sorry, this thing jumped on me. Guardian here says, figure out the visuals for ourselves. Oh, you mean using our imagination? Fortunately, I have one, but I've met a few people who probably don't have any. Yeah, that's actually true. And that right there is one of the key things that in a lot of science fiction, I'm going to actually just call out Halo for this one. And I kind of wish I had a Cortana picture up right now, but I don't. You know what? Let me just find one real quick. If I do have Cortana over here. When it comes to the Covenant, they have no imagination at all. And they are able to take the current technology and adapt it, but they couldn't make new technology. And that was their failure. So, and is somebody rolling in? I think somebody's rolling in. There he is. And there's Brian Kemp with a $10 super chat. He says, great stories. Yeah, you've been going through the older stuff, haven't you? I noticed it was you, right, Brian, who was going through all the what was it? Ambush Predator, Ultimate Ambush Predator. And yeah. Hey, be ready for that one to be condensed down to a solid video, and that's probably going to be a good 20 hours. I only had a few of them that go that long, and oh boy. It's fair warning. Whenever you guys see where it says complete series, fair warning on this. Between each episode, there will be a break, and if the YouTube gods want to actually put a commercial in there, that's where they're going to be. I set it up that way so on these really, really long videos, you're not listening close and all of a sudden they throw it in and right at the good part, which I'm sure with all of us has pissed us off. So thank you again, Brian. And oh, it was a locust. Yeah, he should have. Doug, I'm hoping you saw parts fly off that son of a bitch. Now, most locusts will be able to tank at least in SRM6. They should be able to, because it's not all going to pinpoint in one spot. However, in the back, you're looking at severe internal damage. He should have been smoking at least. That's crazy. Especially if you point blanked him. But anyways, I was gonna say, as far as the imagination goes, if you guys are creating a type of species, even Trek has done a species that cannot invent; they can only steal and integrate. And I'm trying to remember what it's called. There's really pig-faced dudes. They're all fat guys there, and they're just. They can get the technology. They just don't know how to use it. They don't know how to fix it. And they literally just bolting scrap together, trying to get everything to work. And somehow they do. It's like placoons or something like that. And plaqueheads or something. Piss faces. I don't know. See, Alina says, I think I remember a few Twilight episodes. What's 9 plus 10, 21? No, I think that was Abbott and Costello. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about on that, it's literally Abbott and Costello figured out the current way of doing math long before we did. And it's kind of funny. It's like 7 and 12 equals 32 or something like that. I don't know. Or 7 plus 12 is 29 or however that's supposed to go. It's actually a really funny bit. Guard says, season 13 thing, I should have ended red versus blue. Yeah, it left on a cliffhanger, but that's the point. I like season 14 because it focuses on side characters, but after that, it's just garbage. Yeah, they kept trying to push the envelope, and they got the extra money, and they're trying to show they have it by having all this crap. I'm just like, no. And the thing is, they can't show the faces on any of them except one, and that's Carolina. And I would have loved if they had just have Carolina finally take her helmet off, look at all the red versus blue, and you just hear the dink of them, getting a little excited inside their armor. And then there's Griff go, like he just passed out from seeing the most beautiful thing in the world. And it's just have Carolina, is he okay? And, like Sarge going, oh, he's fine. He's just faking it. You are faking it, right? I think that would have been funny. But they didn't. They wanted to push it farther and farther and get away from their roots. And you're right. After season 13, I think that was their magnum opus, and they just didn't go any further. Anyway, let's see. Garth said there used to be a channel on DirecTV called Chilla, and for about a whole week in a year, they would play the Twilight Zone. Okay. Na, 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 na. Enter a world beyond sight and sound. You've entered the infantry zone. We actually had a whole skit on that. And I'm trying to remember. Imagine a world beyond sight and sound, where the whole idea of common sense is lost, where up is down, down is right, and the arrow never points north. There was more to it, and then it's like, you have entered the infantry zone. And somebody behind you would always just go, na, 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 and the whole place would just start cracking up. And let's see, Elena says, sorry, I was talking about the character I wanted to create, but I wasn't sure if I did right. You know what? Tell you what, when you're done drawing, since I can't draw for shit, I'm freely going to admit that. If you want to send in, email me the picture, and I will put it up on here next week, and everybody here can say what they like, what they don't like, and this, that, and the other thing. How about that? And then we got Guard coming in. They also used to play a lot of other movies that were also infamous for their terrible horror movies and that were bad but entertaining to watch. Yeah, most of the old Sci-Fi Channel used to do that. And back in the day, yeah, the quality was horrible, the acting was bad, but it made you think. And one that still scares me because I see it coming true is called Iborgs. And if you guys have not seen that, it is just, you're going to look at things today and go, oh, be afraid, be very afraid. It is just crazy. Let's see, Garth saying DirecTV canceled the channel back in 2014. Well, they're always canceling the good stuff. And that was very common back in the 80s. Extremely common, even in the 90s. Some of the best shows, it didn't matter if it's a cartoon or a live action, they just never gave it a fair shake. Case in point, Space Above and Beyond. If you guys have not seen that fucking show, you are missing out. It is one of the only times they did aerospace fighters right. And I'm not going to be squashing anything. They call them hammerheads because they have a type of wing, an airfoil on the front and the back. However, they still have their thrust vectors on the corners, so when they're in space, they can maneuver like they're actually in space. Now, do they always maneuver that way? No. However, because of the way they're built, it makes sense that they will be able to fly in space and in atmosphere. It's one of the very, 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 very few times that the aerospace fighter actually made sense. And yes, that is the exact designation. Aerospace fighter is there for anything that is dual purpose. You have space superiority fighter, which cannot go into atmosphere, and air superiority fighter that cannot leave atmosphere. So which is why if you have an invasion and all you have is air superiority fighters, they have just turned into something that can only launch once you're in free fall, doing the whole Adama maneuver, right? The problem is if you launch them out even as fast as they are in that heat and that much pressure, you're going to rip those tiny little shits apart. It's one of the reasons I couldn't get into Battlestar. I'm just sitting there like, physics doesn't work that way, numbnuts. They got a lot of things right, but when they fucked up big. Okay, where was I? Julia's saying Ambush is one of my favorite series. Okay, yeah, I know it's for everybody. And once I get the office built downstairs, now I'm just waiting for the snow to leave so we can get the freaking wood in here to build it. That's the holdup. That's the very big holdup. I already got the contractor to come help me out. He's going to get the whole thing done. We're going to get the fans put in and everything. And all we got to do is move a big shelf out of there with all my B equipment and stuff like that. And I'm going to have my desk on one side with a couple other areas so I can work. And on the back side, it's just going to be one solid wall of dry erase board so I can go across and sketch everything out. And of course, I'm going to have to get a recliner in there so I can actually sit and work and not have anybody bother me because I can't do it in front of this computer. I personally can't. I will end up seeing, I'll take 2 minutes for YouTube. And then 10 minutes goes by. I'm like, fuck. And then I literally will shut it off and run out of the room. Or sometimes I don't even shut it off. I just run out of the room because I know if I stay there, it's an addiction, guys. It is what it is. Okay. Guard says, to be honest, I think I might re-download War Robots Frontier until the microtransaction came. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they're not as bad as the mobile app, which will advertise like 30 different deals in front of you before you can even access the hangar. But still very pay to win. Just like what's on the screen right now, I'm sure that's a pay to play system. And again, I don't want to do the subscription stuff, guys, with the whole membership deal. I don't see myself having a choice. I am bleeding on this channel, and I'm bleeding off subscribers so fast, it's sick. I had at one point, it was like 9,100, almost 9,200. I am down to 80, below 8,900. Okay, it took about 3 months, but it's just trickling down and trickling down and trickling down. And everybody, I don't know if you guys watch somebody called Barry Stepp. He's got like 1 million subscribers, and he's talking about it. Terrence Pop is talking about it. Tim Pool is fucking talking about it. It's getting bad. They're just trying to piss us off, and they're doing a good job because they want these AI channels and nothing but. And they don't realize if you have nothing but, then shocker, no one's going to listen anymore. And then all I can say is,
congratulations, you played yourself.
It's just sick. So anyway, I'm going to jump up here to guard. He says, one lady got pissed at me for the Iran stuff and told me I should go and fight since I care so much about it. Well, we're going to just remember, we're going to try and stay away from the stuff, guys. We're just, this ain't CNN. Definitely not CNN because I still have my balls. And this ain't Fox News. This ain't any of those others. It's not what this channel's about. I continue, shut her up real damn quick. When I took off my boot and my sock and then pulled up my pant leg, showed my broken foot, and still not so nice looking a scar from a fractured shin. Ouch. That's all I can say on that. Even if I wanted to join, I would have been rejected because of medical injury. Yes, as a former recruiter, I can tell you there's a lot of ways to be disqualified. And some people, I actually felt bad for them because they shouldn't have been disqualified, but we didn't have a fucking choice. It's like that kid. Smart as all shit. Looks like he's an athlete, but he has IBS so bad that if he stops taking his pills, he's going to shit his pants. We had another guy, he got a tattoo in honor of his veteran grandfather, but because he couldn't cover it up with his whole hand, they disqualified him at MEPS. I'm like, the fuck? I went to bat for this guy, but And unfortunately, when the tears started flowing, I was like, dude, let me get the chaplain or somebody. I am many things. A grief counselor is not one of them. I'm infantry. We literally see you crying. We walk up and smack you across the face, go, hey, you still crying? I'll give you something to cry about. But you don't understand. I understand that you're crying like a little bitch. And usually, and the thing is, before you guys give me any shit about that, the premise is to get them pissed. Okay? Get them so pissed that they actually lunge at you. And that's where the one good line in that Terminator movie, where they're in the what the hell? They're in the crypt, and he's like yelling at Arnold Schwarzenegger, "Fuck you!" and Schwarzenegger drops him and goes, "Good, and good is more, and good is better than fear." However that's supposed to go. Or anger is more useful than fear. I mean, he's not wrong. He is not wrong. It's better if you literally just get pissed. Let's see. Guard continues here. Shortest version of it was chopping down trees with my dad. We were moving one of the logs, and the log decided my foot and shin looked like a nice spot to land. Broke my foot and fractured the shin. Ow. Ow, ow. I can just imagine the colorful language that was coming out of your mouth at that point. And
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
it's probably what your father was saying, is looking at all that shit. Probably want to put a tourniquet on you to stop from bleeding out. Anyways, Guardian says pack leads are the species you're thinking of. It's not so much that they are completely unimaginative, but rather that they have a very simple mind and need a lot of guidance for a long time. Yet they're, in the cartoon, as I understand it, they're considered a major threat because they've got the best engines strapped to a ship that wasn't designed for that, but it's the strongest hull, so it's hard to break. And then they went to another species, got the best weapon systems, went to another species, got the best shields, and they're slapping it all together piecemeal. And yeah. So yeah, I guess that's what's supposed to make them a threat. But the thing is, the cartoon that, what was it? Upper Deckers or whatever the fuck it's called. That show is so bad. I could easily fix it. You give me 3 episodes. I would need that long because there'd be a lot of exposition. 3 episodes, and I guarantee I would fix that series. I'd piss a lot of people off who don't even watch the series, but I guarantee I'd make it a whole lot better. Guard's up here saying how his ankle still pops whenever he walks. Yeah, I'm sure it's fun. You should hear my knees when I get up. Not so fun. Guard says, oh, and Sin, that tank video you showed that you said me shooting is in the turret ring. Yeah, no, that was complete in the total front plate. Really? I'm going to look at that again. Actually, when you look at the now, what I want to do is actually freeze it and be able to talk, but it won't let me do that. If you look at where the splat goes in, is at the very base of the turret. What you probably did is you got right underneath the barrel, right where it's nice and squishy and kablooey, because you actually see the shrapnel come in and hitting the gunner's sight, at least part of it. They didn't articulate the whole thing. But yeah, the thing is, we're both right. And you know what?
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Something ain't right.
Something actually is, because I didn't see this. For some reason, the system is screwing up again. And Skip sends a $10 super chat. He says, Sin, you are so correct about Space Above and Beyond. It was a very good series. It took itself a little too seriously at times. It wasn't supposed to. I mean, pilots are not ground pounders, and ground pounders are not pilots. You're trained and you do one of those things. Me, I tried to become a pilot, and the Army told me to go fuck off, even though I passed everything. But that's what happens when your XO, your CO, and your battalion commander decide, nah, you're good at what you do. I'm like, sir, I suck at what I do. I'm not a good recruiter. Let me go be a pilot. I've done all the work. Let me go fly. Oh, no. We need you here. This, that, and the other. And him and Han and fuck you. Let's see. Let's see. Lena says that one is classic. Would the real Martian please stand up? Yeah. When I was a kid, I didn't know which one was going to be the Martian either. That was noted as one of the best, I guess you could say, trick shots in modern television. You know, nobody expected that. Let's see. Guard comes in. I was using a Su 12254, which is armed with a 122 millimeter gun. That's a big metal dick right there. And I was packing its best shell, which was a 286 millimeter of penetration with a M26. Stood no chance. No shit. Actually, with that, a modern Abrams will get shredded. Maybe not shredded nearly as bad, but I guarantee the inside, they're going to be feeling it. They'll probably lose at least one crew. Guard says, bro, I swear to God, War Thunder really has no concept of how to put a good spawn point in the game. Well, they put them way too close to try and get people constantly fighting. Unfortunately, as Razorfist would say, they're trying to make them Twitch shooters. I don't agree with that. I personally think they should be as close to accurate as possible, which is why I didn't mind it so much. I mean, I kind of did, but I kind of didn't in the War Thunder, especially when it came to the pilots and they were actual pilots started playing the actual airframes like the F-16s, the F-18s, the Eurofighters, the Gripens, and all this other stuff. And they're like, no, it doesn't do this. It turns at this angle. It goes this fast. It goes to, you can do vertical. You can do this type of maneuver. Oh, if you do this maneuver, you're going to snap the wings off. Oh, but if you do this maneuver, you can't go below this airspeed or else you stall and die, you know. And they're like, stop giving away secrets. Like, it's in the manual, you dumb fuck. And it's just a lot of these guys who are programming don't have time to study it. And there's guards talking about the spawn points. Like, yeah, let's have the enemy get a city on the other side of the map while we go get an open field where the closest city to drive to is 3 kilometers away. I hate the fact that I know exactly what Trek species. Oh, I didn't put that. But yeah, if you got bad positioning, yeah, there's. As far as, again, a ground pounder like myself, an 11 bullet catcher, I can tell you, you do not want to be out of position. You are constantly moving, trying to get a better position, constantly. Like when I first got in, I was the AG, the assistant gunner. So if the gunner went down, I wasn't moving. I'm constantly trying to suppress the enemy so they don't move, so our guys can move. And it's a lot of cat and mouse. People don't think it is, but it is. Just a lot closer, usually with knives and 45s and broken bottles too. Let's see. Guard says, I hate the fact that I know exactly what Trek species Sin is talking about, but I can't remember the name for the life of me. Somebody had already put it in. I don't know. Something about packing each other. I don't know. Something like that. And there's Skip's extra there. It says, and Lena says, I did have an impression that starfighters have anti-gravity, that the only way those bricks stay in the air. Okay, if you're talking about Star Trek, it is fucking techno space magic. Okay, it does nothing they do makes sense. It's an older series. You just kind of have to deal with it. As far as Trek is concerned, they actually do explain it to a point. The problem is that the whole thing about the different nacelles and how they operate, the nacelles are they're universally the same. They're just bigger or smaller depending on what size vessel, which means they should operate the same, but they don't. So yeah, that's why the whole thing is confusing as all hell. And the thing, and that's another thing that kind of keeps me away from the Treks, is they've lost consistency. In one episode, you see their funky phaser laser thing basically cut through an entire planet, and another couple episodes later, it can't take out a little fighter-sized ship. Why? Because there's one of the named characters on it. Oh yeah, plot-driven. Yeah, blow me. Swear. All right. Julie's here. Ambush Predators was the one that got me into Syntax. Yeah, well, I enjoyed doing that one. I will say, guys, when I get a chance to do it, there is going to be a time jump. I don't have a choice. There has to be a time jump. Guard says, that's the sticky part, is that they wanted to end the series after season 14, but they got bought by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers just pushed the envelope and just kept pushing. Okay, that answers that question. Thank you, Guard, for answering that question. They got bought out by corporate, and corporate only knows how to bullshit. They do not know how to entertain. They never did. How do you know this? Because every time a corporate entity get involved with anything, it goes to shit. You look at country music. When then corporate interests went in there, it stopped being country music. Right around the time Garth was there. You look at a lot of these other, like Disturbed, which is a rock band I used to enjoy. You can tell exactly when they sold out, because everything after that point, there's no soul, there's no passion to the fucking music at all. The guys who are on the instruments, they don't play with a passion. The guys on the that are singing, they don't actually have the heart in the music. They just don't, and you can tell. And it is what it is. So far, I don't think Sabaton has sold out or anything like that. But like Korn, Rage Against the Machine, these are supposed to be the anti everybody, and nope. They're just sitting there waiting to be petted, called a good dog. But yeah, Warner Brothers, yeah, Garza. So Warner Brothers killed them just like they killed Ruby. I never saw Ruby, so I'll have to take your word for it. There's something about the art style that just didn't sit with me. And I see something there, and there is a, do I have a good one? Well, it's Prozac and Pancakes. He still has 9 weeks to go before he runs out. So, I mean, looking at him sending it,
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
He says, don't need to read this out loud. Okay. Okay, didn't read it out loud. Or did you want me to? Yeah. Yeah, again, we're trying to stay away from the politics, but I'll agree with mostly. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. And up here we got Skip with says Julius, it was They Call Us Monsters for me. By the way, I am yet again going through these videos. Okay. It's one of those things, guys. If I didn't have other stuff to do, I would start at like 8 o'clock in the morning just get back from the gym, 2 cups of coffee and breakfast, and I would just be doing these as fast as I could. I would need some help to actually do, like somebody in the room with me to actually help me get it all sketched out and everything. But I'd be pumping them out like crazy, probably 2 a day, 2, 3, maybe, like full 20 and 30-minute videos. But it is what it is. Let's see. Brian says AI videos equals not recommended. Yes. 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 I mean, whenever I see any of these AI videos, I keep thinking,
Of course you realize this means war.
yeah, because we are at war with them for sure. And it's just absolutely crazy. Let's see. Pack lids. Yeah, they pack down the lid because their heads are too stupid. Okay. Chris says, funny idea for a story. War story. Okay, hold on. Let me write down idea. It says, fun idea for a story. War stories and cowboy days, chatting it up with the new modern generation, but talking about space exploration, first contact, and how things got lame versus when it was fun. In bar, BSing about Wild West in space before it got, we'll say, civilized. Okay. That's like I was saying to Guardian, that is a very, very, very dialogue heavy story. So if I'm not doing that complete off the cuff and I have to write it all out, that takes a long time. But that's definitely doable. Be like when cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts. Leonid says, wait until you realize that War Thunder ruined infantry with the drone bombs. I hate to say it, but us infantry guys, we knew this was coming. And those of us that saw the writing on the wall already trained our guys for it. Everybody I trained already knows how to dodge a drone, how to not be seen by a drone. It's actually not that hard once you understand how they operate. So the thing is, you got to hide your heat. You have to hide your radio signature. You can't actually have a radio even on. You can't even have a battery in the ASIP radio. You can't. Okay. They'll be able to find that. You take all your little stuff and you put it in something that's basically a portable Faraday cage, and you friggin' haul ass with that. And then you refill your radio once you get to where you're going. And the kicker is with these drones, when you stop, you start digging. And you dig in and then you dig across, because the drones will come down. You got to dig in, dig across, then turn. And then you have your open area. It's a lot of work now. An anti-drone foxhole, I'll put foxhole in quotes, is actually quite complex. And the kicker is, we've seen a lot of this stuff. We learned a lot from what's going on in Ukraine. And even the Russians do this. You dig kind of slanted. Okay. That way, when it comes down, it will probably miss and detonate not on the ground, but you don't want to come straight down, because then the concussion gets caught before it goes up and out. You want to be able to, if you can, you twist on the way down, so that the drone pilot will prematurely detonate. And then you actually have another trail going sideways, so that the blast will go that way and hit a wall and not be able to make that corner to wherever you're actually going to be. But yeah, we know how to deal with drones. It's just most people don't. They're afraid of them. Oh my God, it's a drone. I hear buzzing. I'm going to die. Not if you know what you're doing. And by the way, it's called double up buckshot. Take out any drone out there. Aside, minus anything that's firing a hellfire at you. 14 Tango Patriot missile air defense. Yep. It's good stuff. It's just not limited quality. Limited quantity. Julia's saying how still have to rewatch that series. Yeah. Leon says, in Babylon 5, spaceships are 5 inches thick. They would never fly without some kind of assistance. Huh? Are you talking the hull is 5 inches thick? Well, the thing is, the ones that actually do fly in atmosphere, don't forget the amount of thrust they're getting out of all 4 pylons, at least from the human ships, is just insane. It's once they're in atmosphere, and they even said it was a throwaway line when they were actually, I think the second time they deployed the wings of the Thunderbolt, where it went into an atmosphere, and the guy in charge says, "Don't pull too many G's. You won't be able to." Or well, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. He's like, "Don't put your throttle too high and pull too many G's. It will crush you in your cockpit," or something like that. Because the whole thing's got just so much ass to it. And there's Prozac and Pancakes right there. It says, I had to edit it because sensors are a thing. Yeah. Trust me, I know. Guys, believe me, I'd rather just say the freaking words when it comes to these stories. But I got a hint around there. And I figured you guys might like the... how do I put this? The insinuations on what things are happening. They might be a little better than me just saying, well, she was sitting there and hold on. She was standing outside in that tight ass outfit that hugged her cheeks, making it so I didn't have to use my imagination. You know, you can't say stuff like that. You actually have to just talk about curves and stuff like that. And yeah, and you can't even say the word tight, believe it or not. I can do it on a stream because it's going through StreamYards, but still. Let's see. Lena says, without Ruby, I would probably never have seen the kind of sci-fi shows anywhere else. Huh. That's interesting. Julie says, not really a story idea, just intrusive thoughts.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
An alien TSA style checkpoint where human brings mundane items that the aliens find dangerous. I got to write that one down. Alien TSA. Alien TSA. Now it's from Julius. And I always make sure to put both your first name and last name there, Julius, because actually living up the street from me were the Boons as well. I don't think they spelled it the same. I think they didn't have the E at the end. I forget off the top of my head, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go up here and where was it? Trying to remember which one of these videos it was. That was, you know what? I don't think I have it on here. So I'm just going to put, say, this one. I always did like that one because the top armor on a tank has always been one of the thinnest parts, aside from, underneath. Maybe I shouldn't have done it with that sort of hand signal. Maybe next time I'll use this one. Anyways, Lena says, Babylon 5 spaceships have an armor that is 6 to 8 meters in thickness. I think it sounds correct. Now, that's the actual warships, yes. Believe it or not, the species with the thinnest hulls, if you actually go through the lore, is the Centauri. They believe that they're so dangerous. They believe that they're so aggressive, and they believe that their weapons are so good that they don't need a shit ton of armor. So that's one of the reasons why they keep getting their asses kicked. I mean, they can still fight, don't get me wrong. It's just mainly because they have so many vessels, not that they're good with them. Their type of cruiser that they have is actually quite dangerous and not a bad design when you look at it. Their dreadnoughts is, whew, boy, that's a beast. They don't have that many of them. But yeah, they would when dealing with actual science fiction, or I should say hard science fiction, you would need some very thick hull plating, but you would need ablative hull plating to actually deal with all these high heats and lasers and things like that, because as it burns off, you don't want it to crack all of a sudden when it tries to cool again, although that would take a hell of a lot of time. But the fact that you have a lot of heat on one side and everybody trying not to cook on this other side, thermal expansion is a bitch. And that would actually cause a blowout. That's one of the things they don't talk about. But that is definitely a thing. And 6 to 8 meters thick, if you have ablative hull plating at that thickness, you could sit there and just swipe a laser across that sucker probably 6 or 7 times. You're not going through. You would have to focus that beam for a long time on one spot before you actually penetrated. And even then, you might not hit anything vital. Chris says, most of my intrusive thoughts involve wondering what happens when I microwave things. I don't know where to go with that. I really don't know. I know when you microwave popcorn, it pops. I know if you microwave a Chemlight, a used Chemlight, for about 2 or 3 seconds on low, it'll recharge itself. And how do I know that? When I was over the 25th in my first unit, here comes Snow, that piece of shit. He's handed me a box that was almost heaping over with Chemlights that were used. He goes, go replace the batteries. I said, they're Chemlights. They don't have batteries. I don't give a shit. They better be glowing or I'm going to smoke the dog shit out of you. So I spent my entire lunch break going to in my room, throwing 2 or 3 in at a time, hit them in, 2 seconds on low or 3 seconds on low. They come out, they're bright, throw them into another container. And I found out really quick what happens when they explode or leak or whatever, because the inside of my microwave looked like I microwaved a Smurf. And that was what I kept telling people whenever I got a barracks inspection. What the hell happened inside of your microwave? Smurf got in there. And I had to turn them on high. Like Gremlins. I'd always get these weird looks on that, but still, it worked. Then I brought back the box. He's like, oh, you went and bought new as this. No, they're used. You can see they're all scratched up. But I replaced the batteries. Here you go. And I still remember him throwing them, stepping on them so the chemicals went everywhere. He's like, clean this shit up, you piece of shit. He was garbage. He was straight up garbage. He will always be garbage. And I guarantee if he's ever watching this shit, he's probably, I wasn't garbage. Yes, you were. You with your friggin' lowrider truck and then trying to steal my car. Fuck you. Sorry, guys. Down the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole I went. I'm trying like hell to get out of the rabbit hole, guys, and just, I don't know. Some people throughout life, when they set you up for failure, it just pisses you off. All right. Where was I? Guardians here is that why some story apps have seemingly random words censored that aren't directly related to mature content. Yeah, sometimes it's true. Sometimes they're trying to be suggestive when they're not actually being suggestive, or in some cases, everybody knows about the jab, the Fauci ouchie, the thing that everybody was supposed to get around 2021. And I can't say the V word that goes along with it, or else they will end this stream right here. And I also am screaming as I look down here.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
And Skip is back. I mean, seriously.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
As he sends another $10 super chat around, he says, Sin, honestly, I don't know why someone hasn't contacted you to edit or create TV shows or movies. Oh, that's easy. They have their own writers. And they're very clicky. Okay. Very, 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 very clicky. And not to mention, if they read my stuff or listened to it, I can pretty much guarantee it'd be like, this guy's too conservative or whatever. Why? And the thing is, I've had this conversation with people that are in the business before. Okay. And I specifically asked him, I even told him, like, look, I'm not asking you to take my stuff and deliver it to anybody. I'm asking you who to talk to. He was so fucking hesitant that I was just like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. And I just left. And of course, my brother got on my case because that was his now wife's friend. The guy lived in California. The way he was looking at me was also making me a little uncomfortable. I mean, he was from California, so yeah. But still. And yeah, no. Anyway. Yeah, it's very... nowadays, they either do it straight through AI or they only get somebody they supposedly know. You can't just send in your partial script, the first half of it, and see if they like it. It doesn't work that way anymore. It isn't people going out and trying to figure out, who's actually good at something. They only care about anybody who checks certain boxes now. And yeah, no. Unfortunately, because of that, certain shows I can't watch anymore. Do not let me stop you from enjoying Rick and Morty, because when I first saw that, I thought it was great. So, a certain person who works on that show, because they refuse to get rid of them, I won't watch it, which sucks. But I mean, it is what it is. I can vote with my wallet and with my feet. But it doesn't matter because that guy's in the clique, he's in that whole thing. So anyway, let's see. Douglas says that aliens might find ethyl alcohol is poisonous and spicy peppers to be lethal. Yep. A lot of people have done stories on that. A lot. And by the way, with spicy peppers, it's the capsaicin that's in it. There's also caffeine could be, instead of being a stimulant for us, it could be basically fentanyl for another species. And by the way, just saying that word, that drugs, where I'm probably skirting the edge on this already. But yeah, you could do that with a lot of things. Nicotine, because nicotine is a natural pesticide. And a lot of people don't know this, but that's why it was originally planted, to kill off a bunch of bugs. They would plant it randomly around garden areas, so that when the bugs came in, they would land on that, chew on it a little bit, and just fall over dead. Let's see. Lena's, for me, it feels kind of embarrassing when I have to say Ruby and Justice League crossover in the same sentence. What? Hold on. My brain popped a spring. Hold on. I'm putting that back together. What? Ruby and Justice League crossover. Justice League crossovers usually suck. I don't understand that. I actually wrote one. I told you guys about this. And once I get The Office done, I might just dig the file out print it all off and read it for you guys. It's not finished, so it just kind of leaves on a cliffhanger, like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next, but not a deliberate cliffhanger. It was just, I just stopped writing it. That being said, if you want to add certain people to Justice League and stuff like that, you got to be real careful, because there's so many characters in there that it's very easy to basically create another character that does the exact same thing as a character that's already there. I mean, that's how they got Martian Manhunter, is they were trying to bring somebody in that could match Superman. And they got somebody who has basically all his powers minus the laser eyes, but he can shapeshift. I'm like, okay, whatever. Still an alien, still fighting for justice, truth, justice, in somebody's way. Yes, Julius, they go right round, baby, right round. Like a record player, right round and round. Don't worry, I'm doing this just for show. This is soda, guys. It actually is soda. I can show you the label if you want. See, Birch beer. Anyway, it's also kind of hot in here. I should be taking off this sweater, but whatever. There's Erica agreeing with Skip's idea that maybe I should be writing for the TV shows and stuff. And Julie, third the motion. Well, the motion passes. I'd love to. I really would love to. And like I said before, if they showed up and said, we would like you to work for a month, here's $35,000 plus housing and whatever the hell your, housing and food, room and board. And by the way, which is cheap to actually write. Give me, again, a month. I can give you a goddamn season. It's not that, at least to me, it's not that difficult. But I would have to do it my way. Just like if I was to write a new thing for The Mandalorian and actually save it, which I could do. It's honestly not hard at all. Just bring it back to its fucking roots. But hold on. Sorry, I just said the magic word. But they won't do that without sending somebody in the writer's room who is one of Kennedy's old, I don't want to say assistants, more like assassins. And it's just, I'd be constantly telling people, you out. And I just hit my hand on something. And yeah. It's absolutely crazy, guys. It's absolutely crazy. That it's not just me. There are other writers like me who can. I guarantee some of you guys actually send me some really funny shit and really good stuff too. Demons did things. Chris sent me a few things. I think Guard sent me a few, and well, he sends me mostly clips and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys can do this too. I guarantee. That being said, I just have a mind that can create this stuff fairly easy. So anyways, I'm going to just keep going here with Prozac and Pancakes with no worries, Sin. I made my buddy of 25 years promise me if I visit him in Texas, I've got a butt kicking coming. All I did was say the best documentary about Texas is Brokeback Mountain. Oh, shit. Wow. Just wow. Those are fighting words, man. Those are serious for that. That's one of us is going to be crawling back. That's how bad those fighting words are. Woo, shit. Damn. Oh. It is just that's just funny, man. That is just really, really funny. Oh man. I kind of wish you got that on video, because that would make a great short for TikTok. Anyway, Lena says, I think it's been 6 seasons of Dick and Shorty. And yeah, I'll call him that way, because honestly, I like the show. I don't like the writer. Actually, he's a producer. And to be fair, hold on. And to be fair, I like the first part in the beginning. Yeah, because they didn't know where their limits were. They didn't know left and right limits, so they knew they had to do what they got to do. And what they did was entertaining. Yeah, I'm sure, Chris, he didn't find it as funny as you did. I'm sure you're probably still cracking up like now. Ha ha. You're from Texas. Only steers and queers come from Texas. I don't see any horns on your head. I went to actually say that when I was a drill sergeant, and boy, did my senior stop me fast. He literally jumped over. I was like, whoa, can't say that shit anymore. Like, what? What type of weak ass friggin' no ball motherfuckers are too weak to hear that? And you can actually hear guys snickering because they're like, oh my God, just said nobody has no balls. One of the best parts, I even had the senior laughing at this part. I actually turned, listen up, shut up, you goddamn penis wrinkle. I don't want to hear another fucking word out of your mouth. And it's still like, okay, that's a new one. Let's see. Julie says, I was thinking more along the lines of toothpaste being an explosive or lotions being a caustic compound or something like that. Oh, that's pretty good. Hold on. Let me write that down. I'm going to get that. Now, the thing is with lotions, all I can think of just is Jeff Dunham. Toothpaste. Oh, paste. Explosive. What's this? Lotions. Caustic. Compound. And yeah, okay. That's actually really good. See, this is what I keep saying. No one person can think up everything, which is why writers have teams. And yeah, although you still have to have one person in charge. And I've actually done this when I was in college, and I did an actual creative writers area, and I was up in front, and I had just been told, if you're in charge, take command. I was like, okay. And this one skinny little thing, I mean, she was, let's see, do I got a good picture here? I guess this is close. That's picture something about this body shape, but only standing about 5'1", maybe. I mean, just a tiny, tiny little thing. Man, she just tried to take control of everything. I still remember, I'm like, this is not your turn to talk. Shut up and sit down. She's like, you don't talk to me like that. I was like, I'm going to talk to you however the hell I want. Now sit down. And she's like, the teacher's going to hear about this. Teacher was laughing. He was outside. I actually could hear him laughing. Well, I was actually this side, but I could hear him laughing outside. And the thing is, I wasn't the only one who called her out. Maybe a day or two later, it was some other guy's turn. Oh, he got right in her face. And he was a big, big dude too. He's the type of guy, like, I might get in a fight with you, but I'm going to make sure you don't hit me. Because if you do, it's going to hurt a lot. Okay, let's see. Linus here says, Ruby and Justice League crossover really did happen during the production of the season 9 of Ruby. That's how you got 2 animated movies where people who watch DC probably don't really know Ruby. Yeah, they're very, very different series from what I can tell. So, yeah, I don't know how you tie those two. I like doing crossovers. I enjoy doing crossovers. The thing is, some things just don't cross over. Like Warhammer 40K with, anything. If they cross over, the first thing they do is shoot it. Or they exterminatus an entire planet. Which, by the way, that if the first 40K series had actually worked out well, I was going to have where a single 40K battleship, whatever, shows up for some reason they can't get beyond our outer atmosphere. They're stuck for some reason, so they try to take over the planet, not realizing that as soon as we see the Space Marines, we're saying, hi, meet my friend Abram, or something like that. And, he's going to be, and this other friend of mine, his name is Bradley. And, here's a I'm trying to think of another one. It's not like I can use a British vehicle because the only British vehicle I know is their one they use for actual snatch and grab missions, which is why they call it the Snatch. And it's kind of hard to actually do a real worth mission when you hear that accent go, hurry up, get in the Snatch. Get in the Snatch right now. Get all your limbs in the Snatch. Come on, go. We got to go. It's like, and you're trying not to laugh, but you just can't help it. Shit. See, Lena says, Rick and Morty prototype show was extremely wild and should not be on public television. Okay. Alan says, hazardous items could be rayon shirt, melting, bamboo back scratcher, extendable. Okay, I don't know how the bamboo back scratcher would work. Maybe they think it's a weapon. Julie says, one person in charge? Only in a perfect world. My job has too many chiefs, not enough braves. Yeah, that's common. Everybody thinks they have main character syndrome. But what you have to do is let them know the first day, if you're the one in charge, they got two choices. Listen or walk. And if they walk out the door, they forfeit everything. They will be fired. Actually, at that point, they're choosing to quit. So they get no severance or anything like that. And here's the beauty of it. And I've unfortunately had to do this. If somebody still wants to be a jackass like that, there's always the fallback of paperwork. You write them up 3, 4, 5 times. You get a paper trail going, and then you say, fuck off. Just like the chickens outside, whenever they're laying an egg, they go, fuck, 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 fuck off. Fuck, 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 fuck off. Shit like that. And I know when they're saying that, they don't want me to bother them either. So, anyways. Yeah. Erica says, should have said more wrinkled than a raisin and half its size. Well, that insult, you would need visual context. Me, I was just trying to get their attention. I got in trouble for calling one of them a worthless cum stain. That one got me screamed at. Although since I had male and female there, I actually asked, anybody gonna get offended? I don't care, you goddamn jizz bubbles. And they're just trying not to laugh, but they're just like, damn, that's something I never heard before. And everyone's heard crotch rot. And I'll tell you what, we had one female and she was over, I think she was Bravo Company. My God. Oh, some of the colorful things that came out of her mouth, that they were definitely not male focused. These were female focused. I think it was something like screaming at one. It's like, you're worthless. Are you the placenta? Is the real soldier going to show up? I'm just like, holy shit. Or something like the whole, the best part of you slid down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain. There's that one. There was something about cheese and it coming out of a coochie. I'm like, damn, woman, will you just calm the tongue? But she didn't care. She got her point across. She got their attention and they did the job. There's Chris saying, Alien TSA saying, excuse me, sir, but you have 2.5 ounces of what?
What? What the fuck?
And of course, in that situation, after the whole what, it would be them screaming, running off in another direction, screaming, biohazard, biohazard, activate, whatever the hell the thing is they're going to use. Doug's here. Or the one apple that is poisonous to humans is highly desirable to aliens. Ooh, that's pretty good. I mean, that's what I kind of did with the whole with my ship with the honey and the maple syrup. And I mean, just Egyptian, I kind of hinted at, I didn't want to say it, but Egyptian style cotton, which honestly is just a type of plant. They love that stuff. It's normal silk or satin. They love that. And of course they can make satin. Satin's artificial fabric anyway, but pure honest to God silk. Shit. And honestly, at this point, we don't have a reason for silk. Well, I mean, we do, but, hold on, I should say, but that reason is very personal to most people. And by the way, I still stand by my comment a few weeks back where I said, guys, if your lady is wearing lace, you better appreciate it. Apparently, that stuff hurts. They if they're wearing lace on the top, they're gonna end up like Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. Why aren't you wearing one of these? Hurts my nipples. You know, I had one girlfriend actually buy that shit and wear it for me once. No kidding. Front loader, unhooked it. I got my hands on the inside, and even in the fun mood, my fingers rubbed the inside. I was like, how the fuck are you wearing that? And she actually looked at me and said, I'm just glad you took it off. I'm just like, don't ever do that again. We're returning this shit tomorrow. Unfortunately, we couldn't because it kind of got stained. Anyway. Alan says multi-claw items with raw. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. As a weapon, multi-claw. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Erica says, which one is chili or raisin? Well, chili would be the capsaicin. Yeah. As far as the raisin goes, I don't know. Maybe you could do that as something that is actually poisonous to eat. I don't know. Lean says, aliens are also allergic to peppers, I guess. Those stories are common. The capsaicin stories are absolutely common. Okay? Abso-friggin-lutely. That's actually when I started getting into the HFY stories, I remember that was one of the first ones, was some guy had a bottle of Tabasco sauce brought in so he could season his food because the alien cuisine was just unbelievably bland. And as soon as they, apparently when he started putting it on his burritos or whatever the hell it was, the alien across the table started going into convulsions and everybody freaked the hell out. They're like, why do you have this? It's a level 5 biohazard. You can't have this around. It's going to kill everybody here. He's like, really? I was just putting it on my food. Now, one of the key things is if you guys wanted to do a really quick one to freak out the aliens and they say, oh, what's in the bag? Oh, it's just some peppers. And oh my God, oh, the capsaicin is going to kill us all. Okay. Dude, they're green, yellow, and red peppers. These are bell peppers. Why are you freaking the hell out? Because, yeah, we do use that word for now. And it doesn't work in every country, obviously, because of terminology, but still. Let's see. Eric says, a funny one I heard is in basic was keep your fruit of the loins under control. Yeah, I heard that one only once, and no kidding. That was actually from a female, and she was telling that to the entire bay full of females. And I shit you not, one of them said, Drill Sergeant, I don't understand what that means. Fruit of the loins? Either she never heard of the Fruit of the Loom underwear, or she didn't know what the word loins means. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? Just no, on so many levels, no. But hey, it's different time. You can't. You got to be careful at that point to fall under the 30-year gap. It's just the way it is. So, anyways, yes. What the hell was it? I will say this also. I had to do this speech every single time before we went out for our first time in the field. You're only there for one night in the field the first time you go out. But I have to give the speech and let them know that, here's how you set things up. Here's how you're supposed to sleep and all this other stuff. And I get to the point where I tell them, if you want the most comfortable sleep, you're still going to be on the ground, so it's not going to be comfortable, but the body needs to be free of as much fabric as possible. Okay. However, you will not come out of your hooch without your clothes on. And they all will stop and kind of give this weird look. The females especially. What is it with that sly look at that point? Like you want to show yourself off. Then I have to remind them, and I'm not the only one doing it either. I always have at least one other drills. At one point, we had almost all of them there. And I actually stopped. It's like, you want to fill them in on what happened? And no kidding. Here comes one of and he's like, oh, yeah, bet your ass I want to tell him. That was one of my guys. One of the females, she walked out of her hooch. All she's wearing is her friggin' breeches. And where in the hell she snuck in a friggin', I'm not kidding. If this one here was bleach white instead of pink, that's what it looked like. Either she had hiked her stuff all the way up into her crack, or she had somehow snuck unapproved breeches in there. I'm like, what the fuck? And I still remember as they're screaming, because the guy walked out first. He literally got out and is all together, literally standing there stretching. Oh, yeah, what a tough night that was. I'm like, dude, I don't want to see your little dingus ever. So we had a male and a female end up getting kicked out of basic training. They weren't recycled. They were both kicked out because that can be considered multiple layers of sexual harassment. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that one took a deep dive turn into the not funny, but kind of shitty. But, it is what it is. Nice one, Chris. If she's in lace, I am Groot. Or, no, better yet, if she's in lace, I am Groot. Yeah. You're all wood. Got it. Lena says, I can't sleep. Aliens after drinking a coffee. Yep, there's been plenty of those too. One of the more famous ones was the aliens were more they were like octopi. I'm trying to remember the actual scientific name. And they would actually drink so much coffee it was killing them. So at the very end, they opened the container and the octopi is like, coffee. And it's like, yeah, well, yeah, it is, but we're going to try on something different. Here's some decaf. And the thing is, it wasn't a big twist. You saw this one 20 miles out, just within the first paragraph. Joseph says, grape allergies are common on Earth. Space, who knows? That's true. That's very true. That's one of the things. If you have a other species that doesn't have a very bad, as in going to kill them from ethyl alcohol, it's possible that they could drink grape juice or a very weak wine and be tanked off their ass or higher than a kite. That's one of the things people don't realize is you can actually have a adverse reaction where instead of something that's supposed to be a sedative is actually a stimulant. And one of the best ones, even before I did this, was they were at some sort of academy and they were hit by pirates or something who were trying to kidnap a bunch of students, particular students, by the way. And they sent out little darts that were full of something. And it was 3-4 humans there. And one of the guys, he's getting ready for these pirates to come in. He's hitting his chest, trying to get his adrenaline pumped up so he can just start wailing on them. And he takes a couple of these guys down. Then he gets shot by this dart, thinking he's going to pass out, pulls the dart out. It's and friggin' bolts at him and just starts, just beating wholesale ass in permanently beating him down. And everyone's like, how can we still be standing? This is a the strongest sedative the universe knows. And he's like, I don't know, man, but I'm all hyped up. And then one of the females picks it up, scans it, and goes, oh my God. Well, what's wrong? They shot him full of cocaine. Oh, yeah. He's going to be running down those hallways at like the speed of Mach. Fuck. So, yeah, it's different things. I try to integrate that as much as I can. You know, just like integrating the translators and whatnot, which is why, as you guys remember, when I did the one, if the human says this or something like, I forget exactly what I called it, but it was like, if the human says, I'm still standing, and ends it by your translator saying expletive, or saying, I'm still standing, matriarch mating person, or something like that. In other words, it's a nice way to say, I'm still standing, motherfucker. You know, that's something you can always play fun with. Chris says, for the record, Texas Pete is better than Tabasco. I know plenty of people who would disagree with you. I'm not one of them. I do think Texas Pete is just a little bit better than straight Tabasco, but I grew up chowing Tabasco anyway. And not to mention, I've been around when Tabasco was in those little bitty containers in the MREs. Little Tabasco Joe, crack that sucker, pour it in there, mix it all together, and hopefully the heat will make it so you can't taste the baby skin burrito. Ugh. And yes, that's just what we call it. It was the rice and black bean burrito. I mean, when you're hungry, you'll eat anything, but good God, that thing was just disturbing. Alan's here with water buffalo jerky expands in the stomach to 10 steaks. Hazardous item. That would be. And that's like the ultimate Pop Rocks and Coke, isn't it? Only difference is you feel a whole lot better at 10 steaks in your stomach. Douglas says some of us drills used to call the male recruits crab farms or tell them to Eddie's disease. Oh shit, that's funny. Oh man, some of these guys get really good. Now, speaking of which, this wasn't actually when I was a drill sergeant. This I was in Fort Drum. I remember this one. And at first, I thought this other platoon sergeant was just being a real asshole. I thought he was like hitting his guys or something like that. Because we would hear him screaming at somebody. It was always first thing in the morning. Scream at somebody. Then we'd hear a soft thump. And then a large boom. And we're like, and then get the fuck out of here, you son of a bitch. And he's just screaming. And you see whoever it was just bolting out of the office. We're like, what the hell's going on? I thought he was being an asshole. Well, it wasn't until I was about to leave I realized or found out what he was doing. And apparently he picked this up from someone else. I don't know who else. It could have been a Marine. It could have been another soldier. I don't know. But every time somebody showed up for sick call and they said, I think the condom didn't work or I forgot to put one on and now I might have a case of itchies and scratchies, he had a custom made stamp to sit. And he got the extra large pad of ink too. And it would fill up the entire sick call slip. And that first one was him trying not to spray the ink, but he's pissed. And then he'd slam that sucker down and push it down in there so the ink was like wide, like an inch wide, that said VD on it. And that's when he's like, take this and get the fuck out of my office. He hated that. And I'm with him. I mean, now you're combat ineffective, one guy. But still, crab farms, that was funny. War Sniper says, gotta sleep. Good night, everybody. Good night, War Sniper. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for actually checking in on the live stream. Very much appreciated. Chris says, different twist. Cocaine is headache medicine for aliens, and humans find out about it. Does that pass the sniff test? Hold on. Let me check it out. Yep, that does. That's one way to get rid. Well, actually, cocaine will make your headache 10 times worse, but it's actually LSD kills headaches. A lot of people don't know that, but if you have like 4 or 5 day migraines and they have hit you with the hardest painkiller and you're in the hospital under supervision, they have the option to give it's very small. It's a couple milligrams of LSD. And I've known people work in the hospital and they said when that happens, you got to strap them down. 4-point restraints at minimum because they're going to trip out and they're going to freak out. Because a lot of times they've been awake for so long, they're losing their grip on reality. Anyways, when they start seeing music, a lot of times they just start wigging the fuck out. However, it does work. Within about 2 hours, when the stuff wears off, there's no headache anymore. The migraine is just gone. I don't know how that works. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a biogenicist. I don't know. Let's see. Doug says, females we had to be far more colorful with. And that's the thing is it got so bad at one point because I told one guy we were doing the immersion tank where you stick your arms in ice water to make sure you don't pass out from heat stroke. And he did the whole Frankenstein thing. I said, put your arms up. He wouldn't do it. It's just raised him like half inch. Put your fucking arms up. I said, put your arms up like somebody just kicked in your door and yelled FBI. Well, the guy got offended and yada, yada, yada. Piss on him. Nothing ever happened because of that. Not that I didn't get an investigation started on me, that fucking asshole. But I had to be more creative. And, at that point, you just got to watch your career. Let's see. Looks like everybody's saying goodnight to War Sniper. Erica says, which one is more scary? Cocaine Bear or Cocaine Hairless Ape? That depends. Where am I? Am I locked in the same room with one of them? Because if I'm locked in a room, I'd rather take the Hairless Ape because I know the pressure points I can hit him with and he's not going to touch me. With a bear, I'm dead. Julius, there was your matriarchal inseminator. Yeah, I can see that with the TSA search. What's this hanging off this? It's an inseminator. Why is it over there in your baggage? But yeah, the thing is that I'd rather face the person than the ape. I've already had to deal with somebody who was higher than a freaking kite, and it was actually kind of funny because when he threw a punch, he was seeing triple. He literally the fist just went flying past me. I went, what the? Of course, everything kicked in. I just went to block his arm, and then I jabbed right up underneath, caught him right. I mean, the only time I've ever done that perfect. Just absolutely perfect hit to that nerve ending, and his arm just kind of went, and he's like, he started freaking the hell out. He did actually freak the hell out, but thankfully the MPs were there really fast. So I didn't have to deal with it. They just wrestled his ass to the ground. By the time they were done, had him cuffed. He decided to sit there on the curb, piss himself, curse everybody out, and finally got the movement back in his arm, which I can tell you doesn't take very long, but if you're in a fight, seconds count. Anyway, Chris saying, nothing made the 4 fingers of death good. Yeah, the beef frankfurters. My very first MRE. I will never forget that shit. And it was just rancid. Oh my God, was it bad? Oh dear God. I just, you could heat that up. You could hit it with whatever you have in the MRE, cheese or anything. And it was still horrid. I mean, could you get it down and keep it down? Yes. However, I will tell you this, as much as people hated it, I actually ate the veggie omelet. And a lot of people looked at me weird. But the one thing I wouldn't do is I would never exchange when somebody actually opened it. Reason being is they rat fucked the shit out. They took all the good stuff. They took the Pop-Tart that was in there. They took the was it the blueberry raspberry god damn it, I can't even think of it right there. It was it was a dessert, and to me it was just really good. There was other like seasonings and stuff in there. It's like extra there's some sort of like Mexican type sauce and stuff, or south of the border, southern area, however you want to put it. And it was just it had all these goodies in it. And nobody just wanted the main meal at all. They want everything else. So that's why if somebody came up, hey, you want to trade me? I open it up and there's nothing in here I want to read, or nothing in here I want to eat. So there, I'm like, no, you already opened it. You already took everything out of it. Oh no, it's fine, man. It's fine now. You mind if I check it? Fuck you, man. You don't trust me? I'm like, no, I don't. Trust but verify, motherfucker. And it looks like Julius is down. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Yeah, which is now the kind of semi-official song of the game Dispatch. If you haven't seen that, by the way, it's a fairly short video because they they went through the first section, they hit the refrain, and they didn't go any further. It was still well put together at the same time the show was coming out. So that's all you have to do is dispatch. I'm still standing. It'll show right up. It's only like maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. You're bad, Erica. What do you mean? You're bad. What? You got to finish that sentence. Actually, you might not want to, because that was, again, it's a trap. That's exactly what I did with my trainees when they said my bad, what? And just, you could just see from peripheral vision, here come all the, even from other platoons, they would just show up and say, my bad, drill sergeant, what the fuck did you just say? You know, you're right there, get the brim of your hat like right up next to him. You're not supposed to whack them with it anymore. But yeah. The next thing you know, they're right on. You know, you can't officially do a shark attack, but, or I should say, but you can get inventive. Let's see. Guardian Stitch, MRE bombs, ingredients, hot sauce, and MRE heater. Nope. One other ingredient. Need water. And that's just to get it so that the sauce gets all over the heater. For those of you who don't know how that works, you take a plastic bottle, preferably not glass, because you need this son of a bitch to seal. You take it and you shove the MRE heater down in there. Really, really good. Then you take a bottle of preferably Tabasco. Surprisingly, Texas Pete and the rest don't work as well. Yes, we tried this. Pour it, take the top off, pour it down in there as fast as you can. Try to get it to smear on it. And you pour some water in there and you shake the shit out of it. And when you shake the shit out of it, that actually activates the heater and smears everything else more all the way around. And what it does is it begins to react. It begins to expand more and more and more. And when it does finally go kablooey, what's coming out of there is a very weak version of CS gas. We did that to a guy in my brother's fraternity because he was just being a douchebag. And we made it a point to get his girlfriend out because he decided to basically pull her upstairs. They did whatever they did for about 30 seconds flat. And the girls got her. I mixed it up. I threw it in there. We closed and we actually locked the door. When that thing went off, it may have been a fairly large room. Doesn't matter. You're first screaming, what the hell is that? Holding on to your head like, it's not loud enough where it's going to hurt you, but it's loud enough where it's going to make your ears ring a little. And then, of course, everything just fills up with a thin smoke of this shit. And it's just, it's horrible. And we're just on the outside hearing the door jiggle and stuff like that. And just, Oh, let me out. Oh my God. You're going to kill me. Oh my God. What the fuck is it? Oh my God. You guys are horrible. I'm going to kick your ass when I get up. And it's like, oh, it's wonderful. They say you don't need to get vengeance. Trust me. Vengeance is nice. Yeah, it is spicy. And by the way, when we let him out, he actually fell forward. Instead of kicking our asses, he scurried down the hallway, fell down the stairs, and ran outside just trying to get where the air was at. Not to mention his eyes were burning. I just went in there. I'm like, freaking pussy. I went up and picked it up and I walked out with the damn thing, not wiping my eyes or nothing, but I was used to it by now. But had to get it out of there. I immediately threw it into the fire that was outside. Of course, this is college frat party. Of course, there's a fire. Because fire's cool. Fire's cool. Let's see. Chris is here, says, oh, the real cocaine bear is in a mini mall in Lexington, Kentucky. I found it by accident while exploring while on a White Castle quest. I don't know if you're joking on that. See, Julie's here. Nope, I'm still here, Mother Tucker. Damn autocorrect. Yeah, sure. And we're getting towards the bottom here. I see, and I it makes me wonder.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
And let's see, Guardian jumped in. He says, I remember hearing a story where some guy threw 3 of them into the hatch of an up-armored Humvee. Yeah. Yeah, you can be serious about that. And honestly, you only do that if you really, really hate that person or you are exceptionally good friends, because that is, in fact, an ass-kickable offense. And I don't know a single person in the chain of command, officer, NCO, who, if you are doing that just to be mean, won't say, okay, you two, circle up, put your mouth guards in, let's go. Because that guy who just got gassed is going to be super pissed. I never actually did that to any service members that I can remember. I mean, the closest we got is we measured out exactly how much water, and we each had a bottle of Tabasco compared to Texas Pete and a few other of the hot sauces. Believe it or not, Tabasco was the best one. Whole time, couldn't be beat. The only thing is, when you put that stuff in, you really got to seal that up quick and toss it. We actually tossed them, let them roll down a hill so they really churned up. And yeah, boom. Yeah, I know, Julius. I know he's probably not actually talking about White Castle. That's why I said I didn't know which way to go with that. Honestly, I've only been to a White Castle one time, and I don't understand the appeal. There was nothing to it. Was mostly bread that I was eating. I mean, I remember saying or thinking it's okay, but I'm not going to, run down like 3 states away to try to find one. They don't have them around here. That's a Southern thing. And just like when I was down south and I sipped the coffee down there, I'm like, this coffee's terrible. I wanted Tim Hortons. They're like, who the hell is that? I'm like, it's not a him. It's a place. But yeah. Boomer in the porta potty, dude. No, that's not just an ass whoopable offense. That's a gang beat down offense. Because especially if you only have one porta shitter, that's horrible. That's nah. And now if somebody's in there that you don't like and you kind of let one go, that's a little different. But again, they're going to clean up and they're going to find an ass to kick. Chris saying something about chicken nuggets, but shaped like an onion ring. I don't get what you're getting at. Oh, if you're talking about White Castle, you got me on that one. I don't touch chicken nuggets anymore because I know what's in them. And the weird thing is, when I was a kid, chicken nuggets were absolutely full of real chicken. Now they're full of, I have no fucking idea what they are. And there's a lot of stuff I won't eat anymore. However, if you guys can find it, this video, please send it to me, because this was one of the funniest fucking things I had heard in a long time. But this was a few weeks, actually, no, this is a few months back now that I think about it. And this is when everybody was talking about how high price McDonald's was. And it's inside a vehicle, and somebody is videotaping for some reason, and everyone's bullshitting. There's 3 people at least in the front. There's got to be 4 people in the back. And I think there's another row of seat. I mean, this is a big vehicle, like an SUV or something. Well, like, oh man, it's getting about lunchtime. Why don't we stop up here at McDonald's? And everyone's like, yeah. And all of a sudden some guys, no, I can't go there. You guys know I can't go there. They're like, dude, you're not allergic to anything in there. No, you know, I wouldn't be allowed in there. They don't want me in there. They'd kick me out the first chance they do get. It's like, why? Did you piss them off? What's going on? And everyone's trying to get, he goes, no, haven't you seen the commercials? It's because I'm white, man. And the dude, it was pointed like this way at the driver. The driver, who was black, turned, looked, and he started laughing so hard he had to pull the vehicle over. Everybody was laughing their ass off. And it came out of nowhere. And that's the best type of humor. Came right the fuck out of nowhere. And I don't care if it offended anybody. That was just funny. And the thing is, you see him later, like at the very, very end of the video, everybody's eating McDonald's. They're mid-teens. They don't give a shit. Let's see. Chris says, but yeah, the Porto bomb was reserved for guys who fucked up bad and almost got someone killed. Yes, that one I can confirm. Just like when they used to take the Blackhawks, and if somebody had truly fucked up, they would actually come up and they would turn them sideways so the prop wash would just knock that porter shitter right over, and off they went. Now, I know they were about to do that with one guy, but because he struck a pilot, but that pilot deserved what he got. He deserved worse. I'm going to save you guys the brutal details. I can say we didn't lose any of our guys, but when we called for the bird, they said, nope, we're mandatory this amount of rest time. I'm like, I don't care. You call for us, we'll be there. We expect the same from you. And I drove the vehicle back. He just, as soon as we got there, we go to the flight line. He says, he looks at me, goes, you stay here. You stay here. You come with me. I'm like, okay, guys, have fun. Yeah, they went in there. Apparently he wanted to know who the pilot was who wouldn't actually get into his bird. And he's like, what are you gonna, apparently, again, I wasn't there, so this is speculatory. Apparently that pilot copped an attitude like, you don't talk to me, I'm an officer, a warrant officer, or whatever. I do it my way, and just kaplow. And just started screaming at him, whenever we call, you get your ass in that bird. That's what we pay you for. So, anyways, we've been going for almost 3 hours now. Unfortunately, guys, I'm going to try again next week. I have so far, I haven't adjusted anymore, but I have about 7.5 minutes of an intro video. And I'm going to try to get it so the intro video will actually play. If I can get that, then you guys get to see a lot of videos that are like, say, this one, but longer.
Machine gun ready for action. It's gone over. Adjust down. Target damaged. High explosive. Target damaged.
Yeah, I noticed you were trying to scalp that tank. Doesn't really work that much with it. You have a completely rounded top. It'll just deflect. Anyways, looks like everybody's pretty much calling it a night. So, safety brief. You guys all know if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat their ass. Guys, it is hot during the mornings. It is cold at night, which means black ice is going to be on the road. Be careful. You got a lot of critters who are also getting very hungry, so they will be on the roads as well. Be careful, especially on those side roads, guys. It's not worth it. Just slow it down a little bit. It's not worth the repair bill. I've already known at least 2 people that within this past few months have put their vehicles off the roads. Thankfully, both of them are okay. Only one of them did damage to their vehicle, but it was cosmetic. So both of them came out and they were lucky. If they'd been another maybe 50 feet down the road, I know one, he might not have walked away. Yeah, there's the safety brief. You guys know, if your little soldier is going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets moist in the bush, if you know what I mean.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
At least if you know what you're talking about.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
All right. Also, make sure your buddy, if you know anybody who is going to drink and drive, feel free to beat their ass, guys, because it's a whole lot easier to explain, especially to a police officer, why you just got into a fight to stop somebody from drinking and driving. I do know this personally. I've talked to many police, and they will make a big show of it. Hold on. But they will let you off the hook. If you're trying to actually keep somebody from ending up wrapping around a telephone pole or a tree, they'll probably look the other way. Unless you would just cause damage like loss of a tooth or something. Aside from that, again, be careful out there. It's going to get very funky, and hopefully everything will work out so that I can have the office and I can give you guys even more content. And just as a final adieu, or don't, or however that's going to work, just so you guys know, there is, or a reminder, I should say, there is going to be a video dropping tonight. As soon as I'm done here, I just have to go check the fire, and boom, I'm going to put everybody in who sent in super chats, which is Prozac and Pancakes, Guard, Douglas, Erica, Demon, Guardian, Skip, and Brian. And by the way, you guys will not get in that order. It's done a different way. And I guess that's going to be it from me. I see everybody saying good night and sweet dreams and all that other fun stuff. So I'm going to cut it here, and I will see you all next time on Syntax Live. This is Syntax saying,
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
good night, everybody.